What's going on, folks? Welcome back to the channel. 6:45 on Saturday, the 25th of June. Heading into the end of the month here, markets on their way to the upside. Good sights to see here as we are extremely oversold in the markets. Today, we're going to talk a little bit of Casper, and we'll take a look over at SPY. Stock market had a nice big day yesterday. Been waiting for it, and looks like it showed up on your classic up day on a Friday. What's going on here? So looks like we got Casper heading up. Right now we're up 8.96%. It looks like we're at 304. Looks like we broke past this high here on the 16th of June. That high was 297. Looks like right now we're trading at 304. Up above that a little bit, nothing too crazy. If you're wondering what these white horizontal lines are on my chart, I have some below the market and a couple above, and I think I have two more above the market. You can't see on the screen at the moment. Those are areas of importance. Those are areas I expect the price to either bounce at or find resistance for the short term. So if we start from the bottom at 224, market was pulling back, had a rally up here, pulled back again, and then we were looking for the market to bounce off that level. We traded slightly below that. Our low was 223 and my level was at 224. Close enough, I would say. And we bounced, and now we are bouncing. We are moving higher and heading up towards the next target, which is at right here. You can see it says 334. That's this white horizontal line right above where the price is at today, which puts it into this zone here, which is a prior base, which should act, at least for the short term, as overhead resistance. So couple that old area of support, and then we have the area of importance here at 334. We should see the price get up to that and touch that and probably pull back for a bit before we see a rally higher. Of course, it could break through that, but I think at some point in the short term, it'll find a little bit of struggle there and take a pause before it moves higher. Kind of similar to when we pull back. I'll show you on a smaller time frame here. Let's see here. If we zoom out, we're on the 3-minute. 3-minute is a very powerful chart for short-term traders. So if we take a look down here, we had the market basically wedging up, chopping down, and we ticked that area basically on the money and then got rejected and started to move in the opposite direction. So I show you that because if we go to the daily chart, get back to some current times here, we zoom in. Why do I show you that lower area even though we have moved well away from it? Is because I think something similar will happen on the upside. So just like we ticked down and hit that area and got rejected, I think when we get up to this 334 area, we'll probably get rejected and perhaps trade sideways a little bit to down before perhaps breaking up higher. All depends on what the market's going to do. If the crypto markets are going to follow the stock market, which should be heading much higher over the weeks, months ahead, then I would expect slight pause here at 334 and then heading up to the 509, 727. And who knows, maybe we'll get much higher into those higher prices. 12 cents, 30 cents. Looks like 30.88 is the highest I have on this chart. That's way up there. It's a very, very good return. But so far, looking good here. If we look at XRP, we can kind of get, and I mentioned this, I believe it was in yesterday's video, maybe the day before, that I think Casper is going to follow what XRP is doing, at least in the short term. And if we take a look at XRP, it was on this day, I believe, which would be the 23rd of June. So Casper had not yet broken this high over here, which was around the 16th of June, but XRP did. And I said, I think we'll see a move in Casper, just like we see in XRP, getting us up to this this old base here, basically turning that floor that what once was a floor into a ceiling of resistance. And you can see it happening here. We traded up into that area and then we wicked down and closed below it. So, basic TA, which what was support can turn into resistance until the price has enough power to get back above that ceiling of resistance and turn that back into support and move higher. So get a good visual look at this. You can see the old base here, traded down. Now we're trading back up to it. And if we go back to Casper here, you can see we're not quite up to that level, that 334 area. And that 334 area matches up perfectly with this old area of this old floor, which I believe, just like it has for XRP, will be a resistance, a ceiling of resistance. So got a little bit higher to go here. I do think we'll get there. It looks like we're finding a little bit of struggle on the May 12th bar. But these areas are pretty important, and I do believe if you hang in there, I think we'll get that price. Of course, the long term, much more bullish on this project than just 334. That's why I have these upper areas. Looks like 509, 727, 1286, 3088 on the chart, and probably even into the multi-dollar range. But we got to get past these short-term areas before we get to that much higher area. So that is my thoughts on Casper. Obviously, we're seeing nice moves. I do think we'll see a higher move before a slight pullback. Looks like from the bottom to this overhead area that we expect the price to get to, looks like about a 49 or so percent move. Hey, not too bad if you were able to get into some shares of Casper down in these levels. Go back and check out some of the older Casper videos from maybe a week or two ago, and you'll see we were mentioning this 224 area before it happened, and we saw a bounce quite nice. Let's take a look at SPY in the stock market. Had a great day, to say the least, yesterday. Definitely exceeded my expectations to the upside, which of course I'm not complaining about at all. Had pretty high upside targets and we exceeded them by a couple points. Actually, SPY closed right on my target, but the SPX closed actually a couple points higher than my target, but not too bad. So if we're looking at the stock market, it looks like I'm not even sure if we filled this gap here. Down below, looks like we have a high of 369.38, and we have a low here of, so almost looks like it's open a little bit. We have a low of 370, and then we have a high of 369. Very close, but I guess that is close enough for them because they took the market back up to the upside. Unfortunately, we do have a gap down here. Perhaps it's a breakaway gap. I'm not quite sure, but that definitely is a thing of concern. I mean, of course, they could go back and fill that gap before taking the market higher. Don't know if they will do that now or they will wait until a later date. A lot of gaps above the market, as you can tell. Looks like we filled one yesterday, and then we have one all the way up here, basically to this low, which was the 9th of June, 401. So, man, we do expect much higher prices here for the markets. But like I said, don't like to see that lower gap in SPY. Let's check out the TQQQs. I mean, if we're talking gaps here, obviously we filled a gap yesterday, created over here on between the 10th and 13th of June. Looks like we created another upside to gap though yesterday. We still have another gap up in here in this $29, $30 range. And then if we want to get very bullish, we got gaps way up in here in the 50 to mid 50 area. Nice strong day in the markets. A lot of people weren't quite ready for it. That's typical. They when you get these crazy market bottoms, sentiment gets way oversold. people do not believe the rallies. They look back and, expect the market to turn down. They reestablish their shorts, and, a lot of them are correct in the short term, but be careful when you get sentiment like this. Markets can be extremely strong, and we saw one yesterday where we exceeded the move for the day by quite a bit. So for what that's worth, we'll see here.